Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today is the final of these 250th anniversary bottles. So today's video is going to be the top 5 of all 24 that were reviewed over the past part 6 series. Yep, there were 6 parts. Let's quickly go over the bottles. So we have the highest scoring one coming into this is the Dark Arts with a score of 4. We'll see if it still scores a 4 today. It might score it a little bit too high the other day, but that was actually in the last video. We have the Barrel 38. All of these scored at least a 3.6. We have the Whiskey War. We have the Dettling, and we have the WH McBrayer. All of these scored between a 3.6 to a 4. Now, if you guys have been following along in the series, we've had some that scored pretty low, under 3s. We had quite a bit of them actually. So, you know, we might have a lot of these in the worst whiskeys of the year at the end of the year. But these were my favorites so far, but let's see how they do against each other. But first, let's do a giveaway. All right, and this is for part 5 of this series, which I don't know what was in it. I think Dettling actually was in that, so a good lineup. And the winner is DJ Mahoney. Congratulations, buddy. All right, let's get right into it. Nose on A. All right, A on the nose. So sweet, fruity, apple, oak, vanilla. This is 100% a bourbon right down home plate, but with a lot more apple influence on it. But very good overall. Starting off decent. I'm looking forward to this lineup, actually. I know a lot of you guys are like, are you happy that this is finally coming to an end? I am, to the point where I'm not trying stuff that is no longer, or that I don't know if it's good or not. I know all these are good, so I am happy about today. Let's go to B on the nose. Of course, as soon as I say, like, I'm looking forward to this blind, I get kind of a mixed bag here. So peanut butter on apple, which, good nose, but there was a slight astringent note along with that on the nose. Some oak sweetness. Overall still good, but that astringent note was kind of a little off-putting. All right, let's go C. All right, C I do like. Darker compared to the first 2, and some of these I do remember them being darker on profile. Vanilla fudge, dark fruit, oaky. It definitely seemed to be the oakiest out of the first 3. And some of that slight grilled tomato note, which has popped its head a few times in this line. I'm about to do C again. But I do like C. C was a good nose. Let's go to D. All right, the noses are getting a little bit better here. Intense, brighter red fruit, oak, slight baking spice, savory. I really enjoy that nose a lot because of just the brightness and intensity that was just in your face in such a good way. So I really enjoyed D on the nose. Let's go to E. I mean, I know I'm doing this blind, but that has to be the Dettling. It is such a different pour. Man, I know we've had a lot of conversations about Dettling when it was in the lineup in the past. But cola, Dr. Pepper, earthy, leather, chocolate. Those cola, Dr. Pepper, all these notes always scream Dettling to me. Dettling is like the pinnacle of like this profile. It's so different and unique. And again, it's not for everyone, and they aren't cheap, and they're super hard to find. But man, it's cool to have like something like this on your shelf just to contrast everything else. It is just so cool. All right, let's get into the palates. Well, A is pretty damn good. How about that? Apple. Now, there was some sourness here, and I wonder if this is a first sip of the day situation, but there was a good amount of sourness. So apple sourness, cinnamon, apple pie filling, sweet vanilla. On the finish, apple, oak, cherry, sweet. So the palate reminded me of some kind of apple dessert type thing, but not necessarily like apple pie, even though it's basically right there. But with like ice cream, oh man, it was very good. But there was a little bit of sourness there. Almost kind of reminded me of like a milk sourness, which kind of reminded me, like, kind of got to the vanilla part, but overall decent. I'm curious if that sourness note is still going to be there on the second sip. So let's get to it. All right, that sip was even better. The sourness did kind of go away, which I was kind of hoping it would. More red fruit on the palate this time. The finish is lingering a good amount. I mean, it's good. It's very, very good. One more sip. All right, starting off with a really good one, because that one was pretty tasty. No new notes, but very nice apple notes, sweet, desserty, good oak to balance it, some spice. I mean, if more people put out stuff like that for the 250th releases, I think I'd be a lot happier. So let's go to B. All right, I thought A was sweet. B just ramped up the sweetness. That was pretty sweet, but a different direction. So it's lighter overall. Red fruit, slight green Jolly Rancher. That's the decoration, the direction it went in. Oak on the finish, sweet. Green Jolly Rancher, minerally. Overall, pretty good, but it is sweet. So if you guys like that sweet profile, this is definitely in that area. Second sip. All right, even more notes on the second sip. On the palate, mineral, watermelon, fruity. It is very fruit forward on the palate. On the finish, it actually turned a little bit darker to balance it a little bit better, which I enjoyed. And oak, and yeah, I already said mineral. So overall, really good. I like this one too. Man, all happy over here. Drinking back-to-back good whiskeys? What does that even mean? Third sip. The third sip wasn't as good as the first or second sip. Curious. It was a little bit more mineral forward this time. Still decent, especially that second sip was just so good. I think I'm going to put A in front of B for now, but definitely something that, depending on the scoring, will be A, B for sure. But overall, still very good. These scores are decent right now. Pretty happy about that. Let's go to C. Oh boy, is this a dettling? I don't think so, but this is like dettling Junior. And I know I said that about one of the bottles in all of the videos we did. I don't know if it was in this lineup though. I don't remember. But on the palate, oak, slight grilled tomato note, cola, dark, more oak. It just like came back real strong. And I usually don't write the same note twice, but it just came back so much strong on the back end of the palate. On the finish, cola, oak. The palate wasn't too complex. Decent, nothing off-putting about it, but this reminds me of like the dettling direction. So if this is cheaper and more available, and you want to try dettling, this might be your option right here. I'm not 100% sure, but second sip. All right, I agree with everything I said the first time. I will say there was a little bit of a slight bitter oakiness on the palate. Some vanilla on the finish to kind of give it some sweetness to just the cola oak. Very good. Again, this is one of those different profiles. One more sip. Nothing new. I do like this. It's hard to score these bottles that are so uniquely different than everything else. I would say C isn't all that complex, and there's not a whole lot of balance to it. And I would say B kind of has those middle notes that kind of bring it down a little bit. So they both have a little bit to bring them both down for different reasons, but this A being thing is going to take forever. I already know it will be. Let's go to D. That is an interesting thing on D. So it's oak, sweet, red fruit. And so when I'm thinking of red fruit, you know, strawberries, cherries, all that kind of stuff. But both on the palate and on the finish, the red fruit then lean into a purple Jolly Rancher note, which is very strange because it's not the same. Rich. On the finish, oak, sweet, vanilla, cherry, purple Jolly Rancher. See how the red fruit cherry went to purple Jolly Rancher? Because if you didn't know, how I read them off is how they come in my brain. Makes sense, right? I like D too, but I don't know if it's... Some of these other ones are just a little bit more complex. This one does seem like it may be a little bit more of an elevated pour. All these are going to score high. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Second sip. So on the palate, some slight astringent oak, which kind of brought it down a little bit for me. But on the finish, rich cinnamon lingers for a bit amount. It lingers for a while. I do enjoy it. Let's go third sip. All right, nothing new. I'm scoring D the same as B, C, and D are all the same. That's not gonna help me at all. I do like it. I like them all, but they're all different from each other, and none of them have been blowing me away, but none of them have anything that's like really too off-putting. They all have a kind of like a one little thing that's bringing it down a little bit. And I'm curious because I put A ahead of these, but I don't know if A deserves to be ahead of them all. I think, you know, if I compare A to D, it might be a whole different scoring. So we shall see when I AP these, because I can, so much fun ahead of me today. All right, let's go to E, which should be a whole different animal based off the nose. I would put a lot of money on it. This is the dettling. Cola, Dr. Pepper, earthy, leather, chocolate, oak. On the finish, earthy. It went real earthy, real coffee on the finish. Cigar, cola, chocolate. It's like everything C. Cigar, coffee, coffee, cola, chocolate. Very different. Not for everyone, especially if you don't like the coffee note. Man, it was so strong coffee on the finish, like espresso coffee. Good amount of chocolate. I mean, it's good. I do like it. Very different. Second sip. It's crazy how it doesn't change too much from that, because you get so many notes right off the front. It's so different that they just come all pop up right away. Nothing new. Again, very coffee on the finish. I'm looking forward to trying E versus C, because C didn't give me that coffee notes, but I'm curious if I go back to it and think coffee, if I pick up on that. One more sip on E. Same thing about like the second sip. Nothing new. It is what it is. That is what it is. All right. I didn't give it a little bit of a score. I mean, it has to be higher than C, right? You know what? Maybe? I don't know. All right, guys. I'm going to cut here, drink water, do my A-Bing, and come back with some scores and see what is the best 250th whiskey. Be right back. All right, that was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went back and forth a lot, and I really enjoyed it. It was very tasty. I did shuffle around the scores quite a bit. You know, there's no ties now. There was like a 3-way tie. But first, let's do a giveaway. And I will say the dettling's not mine. It's my buddy Jerry's. So I will maybe split, because he did say I could do a sample. Maybe I'll do a 1 ounce sample for the other video and 1 ounce sample for this one. But we'll figure that out in the future, I guess. But if you want a 2 ounce sample for at least these 4 over here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment with 250 final, all one word. Before I even get into the score, I will say all of these are very good for different reasons. All of them are unique from each other. I will say that the Whiskey War is like I was saying it in the thing, I didn't know it was the Whiskey War, but this Whiskey War is a dettling junior. It's not a dettling killer, but it's a dettling junior. And it gives you kind of that direction. So if you're able to, if you have this bottle at home and you've wanted to try a dettling and you really love this, maybe, you know, that'll kind of push you a little bit more towards a dettling. This Whiskey War is definitely in that direction. It's not as strong and it's not as good as you'll see in the scoring, but it is 100% on that wavelength, that profile. And speaking of Whiskey War, it did come in last place. Not that saying it's bad. These are very good. These are the best out of 24 bottles that I tried over the past couple weeks. But the Whiskey War did score 3.5. Very good. I don't have the prices on me, but I'm sure I put it on the screen for you guys. Actually, let me find that out. All right, I just looked up the prices. I had them all in my notes anyway. So the Whiskey War is 110. So right in the middle of the pricing. You know, again, it's the junior of the dettling in my opinion, and dettling's the most expensive. So you are saving about $70 between those two. But let's go into 4th place, and that's the cheapest bottle up here, the Barrell 38. Very good. I couldn't say anything bad about them. It was just when I was A-Bing them, I was just like, which one do I like better? And this is kind of what happened. I scored 3.6, 85 bucks. And then this is where it got really confusing for me. Between the McBrayer, the Dark Arts, and the dettling, I was kind of going back and forth quite a bit. And in 3rd place was the front runner coming into this, the Dark Arts, $170. I scored 3.75. Going back and forth between the McBrayer specifically, because I had to figure out which one I liked better. I just like the appley sweetness that it was providing versus the thing with the Dark Arts is you kind of have to find some of the notes. It is a richer experience. Again, these are all really good. Not complaining about any of them. I will complain about the prices, and that's what I've been complaining about basically the whole series. You know, the Dark Arts is $170, which I think, again, but Dark Arts is usually a little bit higher price, so kind of goes with their theme. But McBrayer came in second place today, which is a great showing for a small distillery. Now, I'd say that the Whiskey War is even a smaller distillery, because I don't think a lot of people even know about High Bank Company in Columbus, Ohio. But between the two of these, they're pretty small. Dettling is also very small. So you got to have a couple of craft distilleries, a blender. Dark Arts also craft. So I'm just now seeing it. All these are small distilleries, and if you saw the series, like the Maker's Mark, the Knob Creek, some of the bigger brands, they just slapped a sticker on their bottles, and that was basically what they did. Not saying that's not what some of these people did, but you know, I feel like some companies just put a little bit more effort into it. Like the Yellowstone, I thought put a really good effort into their release. The whiskey just didn't move up to like this point, but anyways, McBrayer, second place, $100, scored a 3.8. Very good. They're putting out some really good stuff. Everything I've had from them has been really good. I have a couple of single barrels from them and a couple of different samples. And then we have this Dettling, which came in first place. And again, very unique, very different. I don't think this is for everyone. This is 100% a mood pour. It's hard to like score these things, right? So I scored a 3.9 and it's $180. So most expensive thing up here, scored well, but that's not something I'm reaching for every day. I'd rather reach for almost, definitely these two, more on a daily basis, just because it's more of what I would want to drink if I'm grabbing a bourbon. But if I want something that's a little bit different, this should be good with like a cigar, I think. I don't think I've ever had a Dettling with a cigar, possibly my Dettling. I'll have to figure that out. But it is something that if I find one at MSRP, even though MSRP is expensive, I know SLB is actually doing a pick at Dettling like today or yesterday or whatever. So I'm hoping to get that bottle for sure. But anytime I see a Dettling at MSRP, I will buy it just because they're so unique, but they are so hard to find. So Dettling is today's winner, but I will say these are all winners for the 250th releases. There's a couple other good ones out here. The Evan Williams single barrel one, that was pretty good, especially for the price. The price was amazing on that bottle, and probably one of the easier ones to find. I'm sure the Barrel 38 is pretty easy to find. They have a decent distribution. But some of these other ones, I know some people were asking me about the Dark Arts. I bought it right on a website. I put it actually in the comment section for a couple comments. So, you know, the Dettling is definitely going to be the hardest one to find here. I think the McBrayer is sold out at this point. I'm not sure about the Whiskey War. That still might be available. If you want to try a Dettling, I think a Whiskey War is right there behind it. That's it, guys. That's the 250th. I will take down my decorations and thank my studio design person, me, for setting it up. I actually have a flag that's over the back, which you can't even see, but once I take these decorations, I'm probably gonna leave the flag up there because it took a while to get it up there. So it'll probably stay up there for a while. I don't know what the next video is gonna be. Oh wait, so this is Wednesday's video. So Friday's video, I have to go around and find all my Silver Springs. I plan on doing the Silver Spring 8 bottle or whatever, how many bottles I have, blind for Friday. That's the plan. I plan on recording that probably Thursday. So don't go stupid. And if you do, don't get caught. Bye.